Welcome. What you're about to hear is the story of how one man went from sleeping on the floor of a gym he couldn't afford to building a business empire worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and more importantly, the precise system he used to do it. This is the story inside $100M Money Models by Alex Hormozi. Before we get into the frameworks and tactics, you need to understand who Alex Hormozi is, because this book is not written by a theorist. It is not written by someone who studied business from the outside and made predictions. It is written by a man who has been inside dozens of companies, in the trenches, watching what works and what doesn't at enormous scale. Alex Hormozi grew up with an Iranian father who immigrated to America and built a successful medical practice through sheer discipline and sacrifice. His father's singular dream for Alex was that he would follow a safe, respected path, get an education, become a doctor or lawyer, and build a stable life. Alex had other ideas. After graduating college, Alex made a decision that would define his entire adult life. He walked away from a consulting job, ignored his father's advice, and spent every dollar he had, his entire savings, to open a gym. Not a franchise, not a proven model, just a gym in a market he barely understood with no real experience in running a business. He was betting everything on himself. For 2.5 years, the gym struggled, not in the overnight success that looks hard from the outside way, but in the genuinely painful, desperate, I am sleeping on the floor of this building because I cannot afford rent elsewhere way. That is not a metaphor. Hormozi literally slept on the floor of the gym he owned. But across the street from his gym, there was a storage unit facility. And the owner of that facility, an older man, weathered by decades of running his own business, noticed young Alex. He took him out to breakfast one morning and asked a simple question: "How much cash do you have left?" Alex said, "About $5,000. What followed was one of the most important conversations of Alex Hormozi's life. The storage unit owner explained his business model with startling clarity. He ran ads offering the first month of storage for free, completely free, and people flocked in. But then once they arrived, they needed a lock, he sold them one. They needed boxes, he sold them those too. They needed tape, packing materials, insurance upgrades, a larger unit than they originally thought. By the time a customer walked out, that free offer had turned into $127 in revenue. The offer that looked like a giveaway was actually a gateway. That breakfast changed everything for Alex. He began to see his gym and every business differently, not as a place that had one thing to sell, but as a system through which customers could move, spending money at each stage. He had been running a gym. The storage unit owner had been running a money model. Over the next few years, Hormozi applied these ideas to his gym, refined them, tested them, and eventually turned that struggling single location into something far bigger. But the real breakthrough came when he paid $25,000, $5,000, for a single hour of consulting with one of the most successful marketers he could find. That marketer looked at what Hormozi had built and said something he would never forget. He said, "You have a level 10 skill and a level 2 opportunity." What he meant was this: Alex was extraordinarily good at what he did. His system for running gyms, filling them with members, and retaining those members was genuinely elite. But gyms, as a business category, have an inherently limited ceiling. No matter how good you are at running a gym, the market size, the margins, and the scalability all constrain how large you can grow. The consultant's advice was blunt: stop running gyms. Instead, teach other gym owners your system. Alex shut down his gyms and launched Gym Launch, a licensing company that would teach his methodology to gym owners across the country. Over the next 5 years, Gym Launch generated over $43 million in distributions paid directly to Alex as the owner. He then sold 66% of the company for $46.2 million in cash. By age 31, Alex Hormozi had crossed $100 million in net worth. He and his wife Layla then founded Acquisition.com, a private equity firm that acquires and grows founder-owned businesses. By the time this book was written, Acquisition.com's portfolio was generating over $200 million per year in revenue. This is who wrote $100 million Money Models, not someone who theorized about business from a classroom. Someone who lived it, failed at it, rebuilt it, scaled it, and did it again across multiple industries and dozens of companies. Now, let's talk about what he learned. Part 2, the core concept: what is a money model? Most businesses fail not because their product is bad, not because their service is poor, not because the founder lacks intelligence or work ethic. Most businesses fail because of a single, devastating mathematical problem. They spend more money getting a customer than they ever make from that customer. Think about that for a moment. If it costs you $500 in advertising to acquire a new customer, and that customer pays you $300, you are losing $200 every single time you make a sale. The harder you work, the more you advertise, the more customers you bring in, the faster you go broke. This is the trap that destroys businesses, and it's more common than most entrepreneurs want to admit. The solution, Hormozi argues, is not to simply spend less on ads or cut costs. The solution is to fundamentally restructure how your business makes money. You need a money model. So what exactly is a money model? A money model, as Hormozi defines it, is a deliberate sequence of offers. It is what you offer when you offer it, and how you offer it, engineered to extract maximum value from every customer as fast as possible. But here's the key phrase: as fast as possible. The goal is not just to make money from customers eventually. The goal is to make enough money from one customer, ideally within 30 days of acquiring them, to pay for the cost of getting that customer and the cost of serving them, with enough left over to go acquire more customers. If your business can do that, recover its acquisition costs within 30 days, then you have created something extraordinary. You have created a self-funding growth machine. Every dollar you spend on advertising comes back to you with profit before your next advertising bill is due. You can pour more money in, get more money out, and scale without limit. That is what a money model creates. To illustrate this concept, Hormozi uses an experience that most people have had: renting a car. You've seen the ads. A car rental for $19 a day. Sounds like a deal, right? You show up at the counter excited about your cheap rental, and then the conversation begins. Would you like the collision damage waiver, sir? That's just $15 a day. How about the supplemental liability insurance? Only $12 a day. We can prepay the gas for you at today's prices, just $10 a day. And we have a premium vehicle upgrade available for only $25 a day. By the time you hand over your credit card, you're paying $100 a day for what you thought would be a $19 rental. You didn't feel cheated, though, because each of those additions genuinely solved a problem you recognized the moment it was presented. The rental company wasn't being manipulative. They were being thorough. That is a money model, a system that identifies every problem a customer has, in the order they're likely to realize they have it, and offers to solve each one. Now Hormozi is very clear. This is not about tricking people. It's not about manipulating customers into spending money on things they don't need. It's about recognizing that your customers have more problems than the one problem your core offer solves, and being the business that helps them solve all of those problems, rather than leaving them to go find someone else. The businesses that do this make far more money. The businesses that don't, the ones that make one sale and call it done, leave an enormous amount of value on the table. And here's the mathematical magic that makes this all so powerful. Hormozi presents a simple equation. If your business doubles the value of each customer, doubles the number of customers you have, and doubles the speed at which they pay you, your growth doesn't triple. It doesn't quadruple. It grows eightfold. That's the power of working all three levers simultaneously, and a well-built money model does exactly that. Part 3. The 4 offer types. Now we get to the architecture of the money model. Hormozi identifies 4 fundamental types of offers. Every business that generates serious money uses some combination of these 4, and the most profitable businesses in the world use all 4, in a deliberate sequence. The 4 offer types are: 1. Attraction offers. These turn strangers into customers. 2. Upsell offers. These get customers to spend more money right after they've already said yes. 3. Downsell offers. These convert customers who said no into customers who say yes by changing the terms of the deal. 4. Continuity offers. These keep customers paying you over time, building recurring revenue. We are going to go deep on each of these. Each one is a chapter of the book in itself, and understanding how they fit together is what separates businesses that grow effortlessly from businesses that struggle constantly. Part 4. Stage 1. Attraction offers. Let's start with attraction offers, because without customers, nothing else matters. An attraction offer is an offer so compelling, so undeniably good, that it lowers the barrier of entry for a stranger to become a customer. These are often free, deeply discounted, or structured around a guarantee so powerful that the risk of trying is effectively zero. Here's why this matters. Most businesses ask a stranger to take all the risk. Here's our product. Pay us a significant amount of money. Trust that it will work for you. That's a hard sell. The stranger doesn't know you, doesn't know if your product works, and has probably been disappointed by similar products before. An attraction offer flips this dynamic. Instead of asking the customer to take on risk, the business absorbs the risk. And the counterintuitive magic is that this often results in making far more money, not less. Hormozi presents 5 specific types of attraction offers. The first is the win your money back offer. This is perhaps the most powerful of the 5, because it perfectly aligns the business's incentive with the customer's desired outcome. Here's how it works. The business sets a clear, measurable goal for the customer. If the customer achieves that goal, they get their money back. If they don't achieve the goal, well, they already paid, so the business keeps the money. At first glance, this sounds risky for the business. What if everyone achieves the goal and demands a refund? But Hormozi explains why this rarely happens, and why it's actually the sign of a great business when it does happen sometimes. First, the goal has to be specific and measurable. Get healthy doesn't work. Lose 20 pounds in 90 days does. Second, achieving the goal requires the customer to actually use the product or service. And if they're using it and getting results, they tend to be happy customers who don't want to leave, even if they technically could get their money back. Hormozi traces this concept back to a gym owner meetup where a customer walked in with before and after photos showing dramatic results from a money-back guarantee program. Those photos alone generated 13 referrals on the spot. The offer had not just retained a customer, it had turned that customer into a marketing engine. The second type is the giveaway offer. This one is elegantly simple and has been used by businesses in almost every industry imaginable. You advertise a grand prize, something genuinely exciting and valuable, enough that people are willing to give you their contact information to enter. You collect thousands of entrants. You select one winner, and then you contact everyone who didn't win, which is everyone else, and offer them the same prize or product at a discount. Think about the math here. You spend a modest amount on the prize. In exchange, you collect a list of thousands of warm, interested prospects who have already demonstrated they want what you're offering. You've acquired massive lead volume at an extremely low cost per lead. And your offer to the non-winners works because they're already emotionally invested in wanting the thing, they just didn't get it for free. a discount is still exciting. Hormozi notes that this offer type works especially well in industries where lead generation is expensive, because it effectively lets you run a contest that pays for itself through conversions. The third type is the decoy offer. This one is rooted in a fundamental principle of human psychology. We don't make decisions in absolute terms. We make decisions by comparing options, and the options we're presented with shape our perception of value. A decoy offer works by advertising a stripped-down, free, or extremely cheap version of your product, alongside a premium version that includes the full suite of features, benefits, and guarantees. The free version isn't the point. The free version is the decoy. It exists to make the premium version look like an extraordinary deal by comparison. Hormozi gives a brilliant example from his gym business. They offered a free basic gym membership, just access to the gym floor, nothing else. Next to it, they offered a premium membership at $399 per month that included personal coaching, nutrition guidance, and a results guarantee. 80% of people chose the premium option. 80%, not because they were tricked, because they looked at the two options side by side and realized, I don't just want access to a gym, I want results. And the premium option comes with a guarantee of results, while the free option comes with a guarantee of nothing. The key insight from the decoy offer is that the free tier exists not to be the main product, but to make the paid tier look more valuable. It reframes the customer's decision from should I buy or not to which version do I want. The fourth type is the buy X get Y free offer. This is a reframing of pricing that many businesses overlook. Instead of offering a discount, which communicates that your product is worth less, you bundle additional value on top of your core offer. Buy 3 months, get 1 free works better than get 25% off, because the psychology is completely different. A discount implies your product was overpriced to begin with. Free additional value implies your product is worth what you're charging, and you're simply being generous. Hormozi explains that this type of offer is particularly effective for products and services where the customer needs to use the product long enough to experience the full benefit. By giving them extra time or extra units for free, you're ensuring they have enough runway to get results, which means they're more likely to continue as paying customers. The fifth and final attraction offer type is the pay less now or pay more later offer. This one gives customers a choice, and the power of choice itself increases conversion. Here's how it works. You present the customer with 2 options. Option A, pay nothing now. Start using the product immediately. Pay full price in 30 days. Option B, pay a discounted price right now up front and receive bonus content or benefits as a reward for paying early. Some customers will choose option A because they want to delay the financial commitment. Others will choose option B because they perceive the bonus content as valuable and the discount as a smart deal. Either way, you've made a sale you might otherwise not have made, because the customer who couldn't commit to paying today now has a path to say yes. This offer also serves a deeper psychological function. It signals confidence. When a business says, try it for free and pay later, they're saying, we're so sure you'll love this that we're willing to wait for your money. That confidence is contagious. Part 5. The transition from attraction to profit. Here's something important to understand before we move into upsell offers. Attraction offers are, by design, low margin or even zero margin. That's the point. You're not trying to get rich off your attraction offer. You're trying to acquire customers. You're paying for their attention, their trust, and their first step toward your business. The profit comes later. The profit comes from what happens next. This is the pivot point of the entire money model. You've gotten a customer through the door. Now the question becomes, how do you get them to spend more? And the answer is upsell offers. Part 6, Stage 2, Upsell offers. Upsell offers are where the money is made, not the revenue, the profit. Hormozi makes this distinction repeatedly and emphatically throughout the book. To understand why, consider this example he gives: a burger shop. A basic burger sells for $2. The profit margin on that burger after accounting for ingredients, labor, rent, and overhead is about 25 cents. That's a 12.5% profit margin, not exactly a road to riches. But now you add fries, and a drink, and a supersize option for 50 cents more. The customer's total bill goes from $2 to $8. And here's the stunning part: the profit on those additions is dramatically higher. The fries and the drink have high margins. The supersize is nearly pure profit. By the time the customer has ordered everything, the profit per transaction has gone from 25 cents to $3. 12 times the profit for the same number of customers. The customer is still happy. They got everything they wanted. The business is dramatically more profitable. That's the power of upsells. And Hormozi is quick to point out, this is not manipulation. The customer genuinely wants the fries and the drink. They were going to buy those things somewhere. The only question was whether your business would offer them, or whether the customer would go buy them elsewhere. By offering them at the right moment, right after the main purchase decision, you're solving a problem the customer already has. The critical timing element here is crucial. Upsells work best immediately after a purchase decision, not before. Once someone has said yes to the main offer, their psychological resistance is lowered. They're in a buying state. They've already made a commitment. A relevant additional offer in that moment feels natural rather than pushy. Hormozi presents 4 types of upsell offers. The first is the classic upsell. This is the simplest and most intuitive form. The moment a customer purchases your product or service, you immediately identify the next problem they're going to face and offer to solve it. The key word is next, not a random problem. The next one, the problem that becomes relevant the moment they've solved the first one. Someone buys a gym membership. The next problem they'll face, they don't know how to work out effectively. Offer personal training. Someone buys software. The next problem they'll face, they don't have time to set it up. Offer an implementation service. Someone buys a course. The next problem they'll face, they need accountability to actually complete it. Offer a coaching package. The classic upsell works because it's timely, relevant, and genuinely helpful. It doesn't feel like a cash grab because the customer can immediately see how this additional purchase solves a real problem they're about to encounter. The second type is the menu upsell. This one is more sophisticated, combining up to 4 distinct tactics into a single conversation or process. The first tactic within the menu upsell is what Hormozi calls unselling. This is counterintuitive. Before you try to sell the customer more, you tell them what they don't need. Why would you do that? Because it builds enormous trust. When you look a customer in the eye and say, I know you were thinking about adding X, but honestly, for your situation, you don't need X right now. That customer's guard drops. They think, this business is actually trying to help me, not just sell me things. And a customer who trusts you will buy far more willingly when you do make a recommendation. The second tactic is prescription upselling, giving personalized, specific recommendations based on the customer's individual situation. Instead of saying, we have a premium package, you say, based on what you've told me, I'd recommend the 6-month coaching program, specifically because of your goal to be ready for your sister's wedding in June. The specificity makes the offer feel tailor-made, not generic. The third tactic is A/B upselling. Instead of asking the customer, would you like to add coaching, which is a yes/no question and invites rejection, you ask, would you prefer the weekly coaching sessions or the bi-weekly sessions? Now you're not asking if they want it. You're asking which version they want. This subtly shifts the default outcome. The fourth tactic is card on file. Once a customer has provided their payment information, which they've already done to purchase the original product, you have the ability to charge additional services without requiring them to re-enter their information. This dramatically reduces friction for impulse or follow-on purchases. Hormozi notes that this simple operational decision can significantly increase average order value across an entire customer base. The third upsell type is the anchor upsell. This one exploits a well-documented phenomenon in human psychology called anchoring. The first number you hear shapes your perception of every subsequent number. Here's how the anchor upsell works in practice. When a customer is ready to discuss additional options, you present the most expensive possible option first, something dramatically more expensive than what most people will buy. Say your main product costs $500. You open the upsell conversation by presenting the platinum tier, $5,000 per month, unlimited access, white glove service, personalized everything. Most customers will immediately react with some version of "that's too much." And then you present the gold tier, $1,500 per month. After seeing $5,000, $1,500 feels like a bargain. It's the same product you always plan to offer, but the customer's perception of its value has been completely recalibrated by the anchor price. This works because the human brain doesn't evaluate prices in absolute terms. It evaluates them in relative terms. $1,500 is expensive or cheap, depending entirely on what it's being compared to. The anchor upsell gives you control over that comparison. The fourth and final upsell type is the rollover upsell. This one is particularly elegant because it transforms a customer's existing purchases into currency toward a more expensive product. Here's the scenario. A customer has been paying for your base service for 6 months. You want them to upgrade to a premium tier. Instead of simply asking them to pay the full price of the premium tier on top of what they're already paying, you credit the money they've spent over the past 6 months toward the upgrade. You've already invested $3,000 in our base program. We're going to credit all of that toward our premium program, which means you can upgrade today for just $2,000 more, rather than the full $5,000. The customer feels recognized and rewarded for their loyalty. They feel like they're getting a deal. And critically, they feel like their past investment is building towards something, rather than just disappearing into the void. This dramatically increases the likelihood they'll upgrade, and it reduces the churn that happens when customers feel like they've finished with a product and need to decide whether to start fresh. Part 7. Stage 3, DOWNSELL offers. Now let's talk about the offer type that most businesses completely ignore, and in doing so, leave enormous money on the table. Downsell offers. A downsell is for the customer who said no. The one who heard your main offer, heard your upsell, and still said, "I can't do it right now," or "that's too expensive," or "let me think about it." Most businesses accept this no as final. The customer walks away. The relationship ends. All the advertising money spent to bring that customer in produces nothing. Hormozi's philosophy is fundamentally different. No doesn't mean never. It means not yet, not at that price, or not in that format. Your job is to find the version of yes that this customer can say. But here is the critical rule, and Hormozi is emphatic about this. You must never offer the same product for a lower price. If you do, you're training every customer who comes after to reject your first offer and wait for the discount. You're devaluing your core product. You're undermining the entire money model. Instead, the terms must change, or the features must change, to justify the different price. Hormozi presents 3 types of downsell offers. The first is the payment plan downsell. This is the simplest form. The customer can't pay $3,000 up front, so instead of losing the sale, you offer the same product on a payment plan, $299 per month for 12 months. Notice what changed: the payment structure. The product is identical. The total price is actually slightly higher, $3,588 instead of $3,000, because you're providing the service before receiving full payment, which has a real cost. But the customer can say yes today because they don't have to come up with $3,000 right now. This works because many customer objections aren't actually about the total price. They're about the cash flow. "I don't have $3,000 sitting there right now" is a very different problem than "I don't think this is worth $3,000. Payment plans solve the first problem beautifully. The second type is the trial with penalty. This is a more sophisticated version of the free trial. The customer gets to try the product for free for a specified period of time. However, the trial comes with terms. The customer must complete specified onboarding activities, attend scheduled sessions, or hit certain milestones. If they meet the terms, they continue, typically at full price, because they've now experienced the product and are invested in it. If they fail to meet the terms, they pay a fee. The penalty isn't punitive in the customer relationship sense. It compensates the business for the time and resources invested in serving that customer during the trial. The power of this structure is that it creates accountability on both sides. The customer is more likely to engage seriously with the product because they have skin in the game, and the business is protected from people who just want a freeload. Hormozi notes that customers who complete onboarding and early milestones convert to paying customers at dramatically higher rates than those who don't. The trial with penalty is designed to ensure customers actually experience the value of the product, because most people who try something and it doesn't work actually just didn't try it seriously enough. The third type is the feature downsell. This one is counterintuitive in a delightful way. When a customer says your offer is too expensive, instead of lowering the price, you remove a feature and present the stripped-down version at a lower price. Our full coaching program is $2,000 per month. If that's outside your budget, we do have a self-directed version. You get all the materials and the community, but not the one-on-one coaching sessions, and that's $800 per month. Now watch what happens. Many customers, when presented with this stripped-down option, realize, wait, the one-on-one coaching is actually what I really want. The $2,000 per month suddenly feels more justified when they're confronted with what they'd be giving up for the $800 option. Some customers will choose the cheaper version, and that's fine. A sale at $800 is better than no sale at all, but a significant portion will upgrade back to the full version because the feature downsell clarified the value of what they were originally saying no to. Part 8, Stage 4, Continuity Offers. We've now moved through 3 stages of the money model. Attraction offers to bring customers in, upsell offers to maximize their initial spend, and downsell offers to capture those who initially said no. Now we arrive at what Hormozi calls the most powerful stage of all continuity offers. Continuity is recurring revenue, subscriptions, monthly memberships, annual retainers, the model in which customers pay you not once but over and over again, month after month, year after year. This is, without question, the most valuable type of revenue a business can generate. Not because the individual transactions are large, they often aren't, but because of what recurring revenue does to the fundamental economics of a business. Think about it this way. If your business makes $100,000 in one-time sales this month, what will it make next month? It depends entirely on how many new customers you can bring in next month. If you have a bad month, if your ads underperform, if your sales team gets sick, if there's a news event that distracts your market, revenue could drop dramatically. But if your business has $100,000 per month in recurring subscriptions, you know exactly what's going to happen next month. You're starting from $100,000 before you do anything, Every new customer you add is upside. You can plan. You can invest. You can sleep at night. Continuity offers are what transforms a business from a revenue machine into a wealth machine. But Hormozi is also honest about the challenge of continuity offers. They generate less immediate cash. When a customer signs up for a $99 per month subscription, you get $99 today. Compare that to selling a one-time package for $3,000. You get $3,000 today. In terms of immediate cash flow, the one-time sale wins. This is why Hormozi's money model places continuity offers last in the sequence. By the time you're asking customers to make a recurring commitment, the earlier stages, attraction offers, upsells, downsells, have already generated enough profit to fund your operations and advertising. Continuity is the foundation you build on top of a business that already works. With that context, let's look at the specific types of continuity offers Hormozi presents. The first is the continuity bonus offer. This is conceptually simple. Give customers something valuable right now for signing up for a recurring subscription today. The today is the operative word. Urgency is the engine of action. When people know they can sign up anytime, they often sign up never. When there's a specific reason to sign up today, a bonus that expires, a portion of people who would otherwise procrastinate make a decision. The bonus doesn't have to be expensive. It needs to be valuable to the specific customer. A free initial consultation, an exclusive piece of content, an accelerated onboarding session, something that solves a problem the customer already has and that they genuinely want. The second is the continuity discount offer. This one trades time for money, and both parties win. The structure is simple. Commit to a longer subscription term and receive either free time or a reduced monthly rate. Our monthly rate is $149, but if you sign up for an annual plan, you get 2 months free, effectively $129 per month. The customer saves money. The business gains something far more valuable, a 12-month commitment. Even if the customer experiences a moment of doubt in month 4 or 5, the kind of doubt that would cause a month-to-month customer to cancel, the annual commitment provides a buffer. Churn, the rate at which customers cancel, is the silent killer of subscription businesses. Long-term commitments dramatically reduce churn, which means the lifetime value of each customer increases significantly. A 10% reduction in monthly churn can double or triple the lifetime value of your average customer. Now, at this point in the book, Hormozi shares what he describes as the highest value per word note in the entire book. And it's worth sitting with for a moment, because the math is extraordinary. Most subscription businesses bill monthly, on the first of every month or on the anniversary of the customer's sign-up date. This seems entirely logical. A month has roughly 30 days. You charge once a month. But here's what most businesses never think about. A month is not exactly 30 days. A month is, depending on the month, 28, 29, 30, or 31 days. The average is about 30.44 days. Now consider this alternative billing approach. Bill every 28 days instead of every calendar month. If you bill monthly, you get 12 billing cycles per year. If you bill every 28 days, you get 13 billing cycles per year. That's one additional full payment from every single customer, every single year. For a business with $1 million in monthly recurring revenue, that 13th billing cycle is worth $1 million in additional annual revenue. From exactly the same customers, providing exactly the same service, at exactly the same price. Nothing changes except the billing frequency. But it gets even better when you think about it in terms of profit margins. If your business operates at 20% profit margins, that extra billing cycle doesn't just add 8.3% to your revenue. It adds 41% to your annual profit. because the additional revenue has almost no additional costs associated with it. This is the kind of insight that sounds small, but has enormous compounding effects at scale. The third type is the waived fee offer. This one uses a structural element, a setup or initiation fee, as a tool for encouraging long-term commitment. Here's how it works. Month-to-month customers pay a startup fee in addition to their monthly rate. The fee covers the onboarding work, the account setup, the personalization, whatever is relevant to your business. Let's say it's $200. But customers who commit to a 12-month plan, the startup fee is waived entirely. This creates a choice that naturally steers customers toward the longer commitment. They're not just comparing monthly rates, they're comparing total cost of entry. The month-to-month option costs $200 more upfront. The annual option costs less to start and locks in the monthly rate. For customers who are genuinely uncertain, the waived fee offer gives them a financial reason to commit sooner. For the business, it filters out the low-commitment customers who would likely cancel quickly anyway, and rewards the customers who are most likely to stay long-term. Part 9. The Money Model in Action. Gym Launch as a Case Study. Everything we've discussed so far, attraction offers, upsells, downsells, continuity offers, these are the 4 building blocks. The question is, how do you actually build them into a functioning business? How do you put it all together? Hormozi answers this with a detailed case study from his own experience. Gym Launch. Gym Launch, you'll remember, was the company he built after closing his own gyms on the advice of the marketer who told him he had a level 10 skill in a level 2 opportunity. The model was to license his gym filling system to other gym owners across the country. They would pay him a fee. He would help them fill their gyms with members. Everyone wins. But when he launched Gym Launch, he didn't launch with a complete, polished money model in place. He built it piece by piece, stage by stage, and the progression is instructive. Month 1, the attraction offer. Hormozi started with a single offer, a free pilot program for gym owners. He would go to their gym, run his promotional campaign, and fill it with members for free. The gym owner just had to cover travel expenses. This was his attraction offer. The price was essentially zero. The purpose was to prove the concept, generate case studies, and start building a client base. But even at this stage, he was already thinking about the money model. The free pilot wasn't going to be free forever. It was a hook, not a business model. Months 2 and 3, adding the core offer. After demonstrating the system worked through the free pilots, Hormozi introduced a paid version. Gym owners would pay a licensing fee to access his system, his scripts, his promotional framework. He packaged this into a clear, priced offer. Within 3 months, using a version of the decoy offer, where gym owners could see the free DIY version versus the full supported version, Gym Launch was generating $476,000 per month in revenue. Let that sink in, $476,000 per month, within 3 months of launch. Months 4 through 6, adding upsells and downsells. At $476,000 per month, Hormozi wasn't satisfied. He knew there were more problems he could solve for his clients. Gym owners who had successfully filled their gyms with members now faced new challenges. How to retain those members, how to sell supplements, how to manage the operational complexity of a suddenly busy business. He built upsell offers around each of these problems. And for the gym owners who hesitated at the higher-priced upsells, he built downsell offers that offered stripped-down versions or payment plans. The result: revenue climbed from $476,000 per month to $1.5 million per month. Months 7 through 14, adding continuity. At $1.5 million per month, Hormozi noticed a problem. Revenue was lumpy. Some months it was higher, some months lower, depending on how many new gym owners were signing up. He needed a stable base. He introduced Continuity, a monthly membership model for gym owners who wanted ongoing support, access to new materials, and the community of other gym launch members. These weren't large fees, but they were recurring. And as the number of gym owners on monthly memberships grew, the revenue base became more predictable and more stable. By month 14, Gym Launch was generating $2.3 million per month. Month 15 through 20, adding adjacent offers. The final stage was the most creative. Hormozi realized that Gym Launch's gym owner clients were buying supplements for their gym members from various suppliers. What if Gym Launch had its own supplement line? He launched a supplement business that sold directly into his existing client base of gym owners. These clients already trusted Gym Launch. They already had members who needed supplements. The distribution channel was already there. The addition of the supplement business pushed monthly revenue from $2.3 million to $4.4 million by month 20. $4.4 million per month, 20 months in, from a standing start. This is the power of a fully built money model. Not built all at once. Hormozi is explicit that you cannot and should not try to build the entire money model on day one, but built deliberately, stage by stage, each layer adding to the last. Part 10. How to build your own money model, the practical framework. Now that we've seen the theory and a concrete case study, let's talk about how you actually build this for your own business. Hormozi provides clear, actionable guidance for this. Step 1. Start with one thing. The single most common mistake entrepreneurs make when they learn about money models is trying to implement everything at once. They want the attraction offer, the 4 upsells, the 3 downsells, and the continuity model, all in the first week. This is a guaranteed way to make nothing work well. You'll confuse your team, confuse your customers, and create a chaotic operational nightmare. Instead, start with one offer, one attraction offer, get it working, get it converting consistently, then and only then add the next layer. Step 2. Price new offers low, then raise. When you introduce a new offer, whether it's an upsell, a new product, or a new tier, start the price lower than you think it should be. Why? Because you need feedback, real market feedback. The only way to know if an offer is good is to sell it, and the only way to sell it quickly enough to get useful feedback is to price it at a point where the barrier to purchase is low. Once you have evidence that the offer works, once customers are buying it, using it, and getting results, start raising the price. Raise it gradually. Watch what happens to your conversion rate. Keep raising until additional revenue stops increasing. That's your optimal price point. This is not how most businesses think about pricing. Most businesses agonize over pricing before they ever test the offer. Hormozi says, test first, optimize later. Step 3. Many ways to offer, not many different products. This is one of the most important strategic principles in the entire book, and it's one that most businesses get backwards. The instinct when revenue plateaus is to create new products, new services, new lines, diversify. Hormozi's experience built across dozens of companies is exactly the opposite. The most profitable path is to find many different ways to offer the same core product to the same core customer. Different price points, different formats, different terms, different guarantee structures, different bundles. The same gym membership sold at the front desk, sold through a referral program, sold through a giveaway, sold through a payment plan, sold through an annual commitment with a free month. These are all the same product, offered differently. Each one reaches a different segment of the market. Each one generates revenue that a single offering would never capture. The more ways you can offer your core product, the larger the portion of your potential market you can serve. Step 4. Build for speed, not size. Every element of your money model should be optimized for one thing above all others: speed of payment. How quickly, after spending money to acquire a customer, does that customer's spending return your investment? If the answer is within 30 days, you can scale aggressively. Every dollar you spend on advertising comes back before the next bill arrives. You can increase ad spend, hire more sales staff, expand into new channels because the cash flow supports it. If the answer is 6 months or a year, you can still build a profitable business, but you need capital to bridge the gap. Growth is slow and expensive. Every decision about offer design, pricing, and sequencing should be filtered through this question: does this help me recover acquisition costs faster? Step 5. Think in sequences, not offers. A single offer is not a money model. A money model is a sequence. When you design your offers, don't design them in isolation. Design them as a chain. The attraction offer leads naturally to the upsell. The customer who declines the upsell encounters the downsell. The customer who's been with you for 3 months is introduced to the continuity offer. Every offer should be designed with an awareness of where the customer came from and where they're going next. The sequence should feel natural to the customer, like they're being guided thoughtfully through a journey, not pushed through a sales machine. Part 11. The deeper philosophy: why this works and why most businesses don't do it. At this point, you might be wondering, if money models are this powerful, why don't all businesses have one? Hormozi addresses this directly, and his answer is more philosophical than tactical. Most businesses are started by people who are good at something. A great chef opens a restaurant. A skilled programmer builds software. An experienced consultant starts an agency. They built their business around their craft, and they think of their business as their craft. The problem is that craft and business are two different skills. Being extraordinary at cooking doesn't automatically make you extraordinary at structuring offers, sequencing customer journeys, or maximizing lifetime value. These are learnable skills, but they're separate from the core product skill. Most business owners don't realize there's a gap. Their business works somewhat. They make money sometimes. But they've never stopped to think about the architecture of how their business makes money. They just take orders and fulfill them. Hormozi's argument is that this is not enough. In a competitive market, the business that wins is not necessarily the one with the best product. It's often the one with the best money model. Because the business with the best money model can afford to acquire customers more aggressively, serve them more generously, and retain them more effectively than any competitor. The business with the best money model can literally outspend everyone else to acquire customers, because it makes so much money from each customer that the acquisition cost is trivial. This is the strategic advantage that money models create, not just more revenue, a structural competitive advantage that is very difficult for competitors to replicate. The role of customer lifetime value. Throughout the book, Hormozi returns repeatedly to a concept called customer lifetime value, or LTV. This is the total amount of money a single customer will spend with your business over the entire duration of their relationship with you. A business with no money model might have an LTV of $500. A customer comes in, buys one thing, and leaves. The business spent $400 to acquire that customer. Profit: $100. A business with a well-built money model might have an LTV of $5,000. The same customer comes in through an attraction offer, upgrades through an upsell, gets retained through a continuity offer, and stays for 3 years. The business spent $400 to acquire that customer. Profit: $4,600. Same customer acquisition cost, 46 times the profit. With an LTV of $5,000, that business can afford to spend far more than $400 to acquire a customer. They can spend $1,000. They can spend $2,000. They can dominate advertising platforms while their competitors, operating at $500 LTV, are forced to spend modestly and grow slowly. This is the flywheel. Higher LTV enables higher acquisition spend. Higher acquisition spend means more customers. More customers, if retained well, means more recurring revenue. More recurring revenue means more stability and more investment capital. More investment capital means you can test and build more offers. Better offers increase LTV. Round and round it goes. The businesses that crack this flywheel don't just grow, they compound. Part 12. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Hormozi doesn't just tell you what to do. He tells you what not to do. And the mistakes he identifies are instructive because they're the exact mistakes most smart, hardworking entrepreneurs make. Mistake 1. Discounting instead of restructuring. When revenue is soft and customers aren't buying, the instinct is to lower the price. Cut 20%, run a sale, offer a promotional code. Hormozi is strongly opposed to this approach, with one exception. Genuine attraction offers where the reduced price is intentional and part of the sequence. Indiscriminate discounting does several things, all of them bad. It trains your existing customers to wait for discounts. It devalues the perceived quality of your product. It creates a race to the bottom with competitors. And it reduces the margin you have to work with, which means less money to reinvest in growth. Instead, restructure. Add value. Remove a feature and lower the price as a downsell. Bundle something in and maintain the price. Change the terms. Do something structurally different, don't just cut the number. Mistake 2. Building too many products. As businesses grow, there's a constant temptation to add new products, new services, new offers, new lines. This feels like growth. It is often disguised for distraction. Hormozi's counsel is to resist this temptation relentlessly until you have exhausted every possible way to sell your existing core product to every possible customer. The revenue opportunity in going deeper, more ways to offer the same thing to the same people, almost always exceeds the opportunity in going broader with new products. New products require new systems, new expertise, new marketing, new operational capacity. New ways to sell the same product leverage everything you've already built. Mistake 3. Implementing the full money model at once. We touched on this earlier, but it bears repeating because it's so common and so damaging. When entrepreneurs first encounter the money model framework, the instinct is to build everything. Immediately. All the offer types, all the sequences, all the continuity structures, launch it all this quarter. The result is almost always chaos. The team is overwhelmed. The customer experience is confused. Nothing works well because nothing has had time to be tested and refined. The right approach, one stage at a time. Get your attraction offer working. Then and only then add your first upsell. Test it. Refine it. Then add a downsell for those who decline the upsell. Build it piece by piece, like stacking blocks, each new layer only after the previous one is stable. Mistake 4. Ignoring the speed of payback. Many businesses focus on total revenue, how much money is coming in overall, without asking the more important question: how quickly is it coming in relative to what went out? A business that generates $10 million per year, but takes 18 months to recover customer acquisition costs, is a very different business from one that generates $5 million per year, but recovers acquisition costs within 30 days. The second business can grow faster, invest more aggressively, and survive market fluctuations far more easily. Speed of payback, how quickly you make back what you spent to acquire a customer, is one of the most important metrics in any business, and one of the most ignored. Mistake 5. Confusing retention with great service. Great service is necessary, but it is not sufficient for high retention. Many businesses assume that if they deliver excellent results, customers will stay. And sometimes they do. But Hormozi's experience across dozens of companies reveals something more nuanced. Customers leave not just because results were poor, but because they stopped having a reason to stay. The continuity offers we discussed, the discount structures, the bonus offers, the waived fees, aren't just pricing tactics. They're retention mechanics. They create structural reasons for customers to remain committed. They turn, "I'll stay as long as it keeps being good," into, "I'm committed for 12 months and I've already saved money by committing." Structure and service together create exceptional retention. Service alone leaves you vulnerable. Part 13. The bigger picture: building a business that scales. In the final sections of the book, Hormozi zooms out from the tactical to the strategic. He wants readers to understand not just how to build a money model, but why it matters, what it means for the long-term trajectory of a business. A business without a money model is a business that is essentially renting its customers. Every customer is acquired at a cost, generates some revenue, and leaves. The business must continuously return to the market to find new customers, spending money it earned from the last batch to go acquire the next batch. It's a treadmill. You can keep running, but you don't go anywhere. A business with a money model is a business that builds compounding assets. Each customer acquired becomes a relationship that generates ongoing value. The infrastructure built to serve those customers, the systems, the processes, the trust, becomes more valuable over time. The recurring revenue base becomes a foundation that supports ambitious growth rather than just survival. This is the difference between building a business and building a company. A business generates income. A company generates wealth. Hormozi is also explicit about what he believes is the fundamental purpose of business education, and it's worth sitting with. He believes that real business education, the practical, tactical, non-theoretical kind, has historically been available only to people who were born into wealthy families, who could afford expensive MBA programs, or who were lucky enough to find a mentor who would share their hard-won knowledge. Everyone else had to learn by doing, by failing, by burning through savings and time and emotional energy to discover the lessons that someone else could have taught them in an afternoon. His explicit mission with this book, and with all his content, is to change that. To make the level of business knowledge that used to require millions of dollars in trial and error available to any entrepreneur, regardless of background or resources. This is not naivety. Hormozi knows that reading a book doesn't guarantee success, but he believes that armed with the right frameworks, an entrepreneur who is willing to do the work has a dramatically better chance of building something meaningful than one who has to discover everything from scratch. Part 14. The Core INSIGHTS Revisited. As we approach the end of this audiobook summary, let's revisit the core insights of $100M money models. The ideas that, taken together, form a complete philosophy of business growth. Core Insight 1. A money model is not optional. It's the difference between a business that can scale and one that can't. If your business spends more acquiring customers than it makes from them, even temporarily, you are constrained. You cannot grow faster than your capital allows. You are always dependent on external financing, on investors, on timing. A money model eliminates this constraint by making the business itself fund its own growth. Core Insight 2. The sequence matters as much as the offers themselves. It's not enough to have a great attraction offer and a great continuity offer. They must be sequenced correctly. The attraction offer must lead naturally to the first upsell. The upsell must be followed by a thoughtfully designed downsell for those who decline. The continuity offer must come after the business has already generated enough profit to sustain itself. The sequence is the model. Core Insight 3. Speed of payback is the master metric. More important than total revenue, more important than profit margin, more important than customer count. The speed at which you recover your customer acquisition costs determines how fast you can grow. Optimize every decision for this metric. Core Insight 4. More ways to offer, not more products. Resist the temptation to diversify into new product lines. Instead, build more ways to offer your core product. Different price points, different structures, different terms, different bundles. Go deeper before you go wider. Core Insight 5. Build one stage at a time. The money model is built incrementally. Get your attraction offer working, then add upsells, then downsells, then continuity. Never try to build everything at once. Stability at each stage is what makes the next stage possible. Core Insight 6. Continuity is the foundation of wealth. Recurring revenue is the closest thing to guaranteed income that exists in business. Prioritize building recurring revenue streams, even if they generate less immediate cash. The long-term value of a stable recurring revenue base far exceeds the value of equivalent one-time sales. Core Insight 7. The 28-day billing cycle is a hidden revenue goldmine. For any subscription business, billing every 28 days instead of monthly yields 13 billing cycles per year. At 20% profit margins, this single operational change increases annual profit by 41%. Implement it today. Core Insight 8. Don't discount, restructure. When an offer isn't converting, don't lower the price. Change what the customer receives. Add value and maintain price, or remove features and lower price. Discounting erodes brand value and trains customers to wait for sales. Core Insight 9. Downsells convert losses into wins. Every customer who says no to your main offer is not a lost customer. They're a customer who needs a different version of yes. The 3 downsell structures and payment plans, trials with penalties, and feature downsells give you 3 different tools to find the right version of yes for each customer. Core Insight 10. You don't need more customers. You need more from the customers you have. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive insight in the entire book. Most businesses believe their growth problem is a customer acquisition problem. In most cases, it's a lifetime value problem. Before investing more in advertising, ask, am I extracting the full value from the customers I already have? Part 15. Conclusion: the floor of the gym. Alex Hormozi closes $100 million money models the way he opens it, with an image of who he was before any of this. A young man sleeping on the floor of a gym he couldn't afford, with $5,000 to his name, and a father who had warned him this would happen. He doesn't present that image as a badge of suffering. He presents it as a reference point, a before photo in a story that would have been impossible to predict from where he was standing at the time. Because here's what he wants every entrepreneur reading his book to understand. The knowledge you now have, the attraction offers, the upsells, the downsells, the continuity structures, the billing cycles, the sequencing, he did not have any of that when he was sleeping on that floor. He figured it out. Painfully, expensively, slowly. Over years. Through failures that cost him real money and real time. You're starting with what took him years to learn. That doesn't guarantee you'll succeed. Nothing guarantees success. But the entrepreneur who understands these principles, who has a deliberate money model, who sequences offers thoughtfully, who builds recurring revenue and optimizes for speed of payback, that entrepreneur has a structural advantage over every competitor who doesn't. And in business, structural advantages compound. The gym owner who becomes a licensing magnate. The business that starts at $476,000 per month and reaches $4.4 million per month in 20 months. These are not accidents. They are the natural result of systems that work, applied consistently, improved continuously, and scaled deliberately. The floor of the gym, Hormozi suggests, is not the end of anything. It's the beginning of everything. And the money model is how you get from that floor to anywhere you want to go. This has been a comprehensive audiobook summary of 100 money models by Alex Hormozi. The book was published in August 2025 and became the Guinness World Record fastest-selling nonfiction book in history. For the complete frameworks, detailed examples, worksheets, and case studies, the full book is available in print, digital, and audio formats. This summary is intended as an educational overview and not a substitute for the original work.